So this is probably the coolest thing that I have seen to date with Claude Code. So much so that I've hit my limit on my Max account, and I haven't done that since I've gotten the Max account, and I worked the hell out of Claude. So that's gotta say something and interesting. So you're seeing it failed because I hit my limit. But basically what this is Paperclip AI. So this is integrating with Claude to give you this user interface, for lack of a better term, that you can basically build out a whole entire org with. So you start it up and spin it up, and you're basically having a CEO, and your CEO has set instructions like you are the CEO. Your home directory is this. This is your memory. This is your planning. This is everything that you're doing. And then from there, you're able to then say, based on your goals of onboarding and then your goals of what you want to do. So I'm talking about e-com growth. I'm talking about e-commerce. I'm so burnt that I can't even talk right. E-com ghost growth. Say that 3 times fast. And I gave it that and I assigned it to a specific person. I'm going to show you how you could do that too. So basically the CEO said, hey, based on your goals, we need a CTO. And then from there, I said, cool, what about getting new leads? And it was like, well, we need a CMO. And then I said to the CTO, well, can you do this? Or do you need someone underneath you? And they went and onboarded a head of delivery for operations. And the CMO said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to hire a lead gen specialist. And those are the agents in here. So when they're actually running, you're giving them a task and it's running through the whole chain of what they need to do and who they need to do and all these different things. So the reason that's very cool is because you're communicating with them. Like, yeah, you could open up Claude Code and VS Code or whatever and run agents and even an N8N. But the reason I like this is you're giving it a goal. So you have a goal of what you want to do. So I have both these companies and I want to scale this one. So I gave it this $10,000 MRR by June 1st. So from there, I assigned the goal to the CEO, and the CEO said, cool, well, here's the plan on how we're doing it, and built out the project. This project wasn't here before. The CEO sent it down the pipeline and said, this is approved, and they build out the projects and start working on the projects. So you can see the lead gen specialist is over here, and you can see everything that they've done. So execute outreach on top 10 prospects from March 15th, top mover scan. So it's looking at like data that's in my drive and saying, okay, find the CEO profile, draft personalized outreach. It did all this by itself. So it's really good with that. Now, the one thing I didn't do is costs. So costs, I was like, oh, I have a Claude Max account. I don't need to worry about that. No, what happens is you want to go in here and put budgets on tokens for what everyone's going to do, right? So in 3 million tokens, out 42,000. So in 5.6 million tokens, so I worked the hell out of this thing. In 3.9 million tokens, out 40,000. So I would want to go over here and set some budgets on this, right? So not 15 million tokens in like an hour. So you want to put budgets on tokens because you don't want them just going bananas. I mean, you could, right? But again, to make sure things are, you're not maxing out and having to wait like 2 hours, unless that's your thing. But the thing that's really cool here is issues. So I like that Asana-style way of doing things because you can go into like any terminal or VS Code or whatever and say like run this agent or N8N and have this kick off. But I like pretending or acting as if like these are all employees. And then I can come over here and say, I have a new issue, right? So I can say, I need a one-pager now. And I can assign that to my CMO for e-com growth. I can't talk. E-com ghost growth. I'm telling you, that's a weird phrase to say. I could say, I need the one-pager now and say exactly what I need, put a priority level on it, fire it off. And then when I do that, it's going to go down it's going to assign it to the CMO who's going to review it and then be like, well, cool. Either I'm going to send this to my lead gen specialist, or if that's not their role, I'm going to recommend hiring for this role that's going to be able to execute that. Then that would go up the chain to the CEO for approval. And then I would get inside here in my inbox, basically approval, right? So hire your first engineer. Here's a hiring plan. And I would say, cool. And you get approve or reject kind of thing. So if it's like, hey, I want to approve this. So here we go. CTO onboarding, assess this. Welcome aboard. Here's the context. And it said tools and audit for 30 days, all these different things. I said, cool. What's the next hire for the org? It said, cool. Next hire is head of delivery for operations. Why? What are they going to own? What are they going to do? So I said, proceed with the next hire. And it said blocked. And this is where it gets cool, because it's going to say, I'm the CTO, right? Board approved it, but I can't make it. I got to send it to the CEO. So it sent it up to the CEO, reassigned that task to the CEO, and it was unblocked because the CEO approved it. So it's just a really innovative way to look at managing agents and building that hierarchy and structure and flow of doing things. Like, I think this is insane. And there's so many different things, and I got to wait 2 hours because it got maxed out. But, it's a lesson learned, because now I'm going to go in and give it token budgets and say, hey, don't go over this, right? And this way, well, the cool thing is you can import a company. So actually there's a GitHub that for Paperclip, where there's actual companies that are there that are already baked out, and you can like absorb like an acquisition. You can bring in that company and bring in all those employees into your org, right? So I just think it's very, very cool how this is being done. Again, the fact that I was burning through all these, I didn't even realize how many tokens were in and out, but that's a lot. But even down here into skills, right? So it's like, okay, the skills are here to create an agent, to create a plugin, to all, so you can bring in skills from GitHub or anywhere else. So if you have like front end design and you want to give it to a graphic designer who's now on staff in your org, they're going to have those skills. So I think this took a big chunk out of a lot of the problems that people were having when it comes to, I want to run these agents, but then, well, how do I spin them up, and how do they talk to each other? And then I got to figure out N8N and all sort of stuff. I think that this is, and not even like getting into routines, but routines is you could basically say, hey, like, this is what I need the CTO to do in the growth project at what cadence, right? So I could say, do this, that, whatever, and build it out. So you can create routines that are just going to do QA, QC, whatever you want to do with this kind of stuff. And you have the dashboard, right? So it's like, I had 5 agents running, 2 tasks were in progress, how many were blocked, what was the spend, pending approvals. So you see, you have this Asana-style, here's all I hate the phrase, but the game changer for me was this. It's just so easy to be like, okay, well, I want to hire a new person, right? So I'm going to go to onboarding and be like, just tell it like, I want to hire someone that's going to help me manage the delivery in actually scrap all that. I want to hire someone that's actually going to QC and QA all of the content that's coming out of my agency for my clients. All right, so I would just fire that off to the CEO. He's going to make the plan because he's the CEO and send it down the pipeline and be like, okay, do we have someone or do we need to hire? And then the really cool thing is that when someone gets hired or onboarded, the org chart gets updated with that. So you could see, you don't have to go there and be like, okay, this one reports to this one, and this, it builds it out for you. So again, for me to hit like my limit, that makes me feel like I'm on the $20 plan, and I'm on the $100 plan. I don't want to go to the $200 plan just yet. But if this works out where it's actually doing what I want, it's well worth it, because for an extra $100 a month, you have these employees at your disposal. And yeah, there's going to be people out there saying, well, I can do all these agents myself and, make them and run them in N8N or trigger.dev or anything like that. You could, but it's the same reason that a lot of people like Claude Cowork over Claude Code, just because it's an easier way to digest and use that information. So I highly suggest everyone take a look at it. super easy to get set up. It runs in your local host, so this is not like something that's shareable. You could make it where it's like that for like your org, your real org, to kind of go in and task stuff out for. But I just have it living in a local host right here where I could just pull it up and take a look. But yeah, it's awesome. But let me know what you guys think.